Well, hello again. I'm Jenna, and we are back with another episode of Mastered the Business of Music. I feel like sometimes we do not emphasize the visual, the brand, the vibe enough. I thought this was a great time to sit down and chat with a creative director, get some insights on how to shoot content for yourself when it's time to invest. So I sat down today with Connor Scheffler. He's actually received his first handful of CCMA nominations this year. He's worked on music videos, visualizers, he shoots tour video and photography. He does an incredible job of all of those things. So I thought Connor would be a great person to talk to about getting your vision and bringing it to life. So enjoy our conversation. I hope you learned something today. Welcome to another episode of the Mastered Podcast by Front Porch Music. Today, our goal is to get indie artists, especially, a little more knowledge about what it's like to create great, crisp social content, hire a pro to get your videos looking great, doing music videos, but also, if you don't have the budget for that, how do you figure that out yourself? So I'm joined today by Connor Scheffler. Welcome to Mastered.
Hey guys, thanks for having me, Jenna. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Sometimes when we're thinking about who we want to talk to, it's like, who do I always see with a camera in their hand? That's what I was thinking for this. And I was like, who does a really cool job? My favorite piece you've done recently, I think. Well, maybe it's biased because obviously Parker's video and photo for her tour was pretty cool.
Parker's awesome. I love creating for Parker.
Yeah. You've also worked, I think... Did you work on the Ride It Out video for Ali Walker?
I did, yeah.
That video's insane. And on that note, congrats on your CCMA nominations.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was quite coincidental to see you at Cherry's High Dive the day we both got nominated. So
what's funny is we got seated right beside you. I went to the washroom. I was like, that looks like a person I know, but it's so fast because I was like, one o'clock mind. Get your seat, go to the washroom.
Yeah.
And you scared the shit out of me when I came back. I was like, hey! I was like, no way.
I know. I was like, what? Jenna? Logan?
Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about your role, what you're doing now, but also maybe what you went to school for, if you went to school, how you got into the work you're doing, and maybe that path, because as much as we want to educate indie artists and DIY artists, we also want to kind of give tidbits for those who want to work in the business too and aren't sure where to get started in their areas of interest.
Yeah, for sure. So I am a creative director, photographer, videographer. I help artists visually communicate their story, themselves, help them get their branding across in any sort of content form or medium. Basically, if you want like any sort of visual accompaniment to your music release, I'm the guy to help you do that. And how I got into this was, well, it kind of goes way back to when I was a kid. I've always had like a paintbrush or like a pencil crown or anything in my hand as a kid. And I sort of grew up with that and cameras and all that stuff. And I went to school for visual arts. Well, I went in elementary school, I was in visual and fine arts, and then high school, same thing. And went into college for graphic design. Actually, I feel like a lot of people don't know me for graphic design. I think a lot of people know me for video and photo now, which is interesting because it started out as a hobby for me, photo and video. And then it kind of just took off. I worked with Warner. So people sort of picked up that I did that stuff, and I started doing like lyric videos and visualizers when I was working at Warner. I guess I should say when I was at Warner, I was their graphic designer. So it's just like all these things were sort of like a tandem thing for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just, I love being creative and, especially when it comes to like shaping visions and worlds for musicians. And music has always had a huge impact on my life. Like I fell in love with watching music videos as a kid and like sort of like scouring through like CD booklets and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. It's always been with me. Music is, a big industry to be in, but it's very fun and exciting and very fast paced. So.
You said you were a little bit disconnected. It might be nice to have your view of the music industry sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, yeah, like it's the award show aspect of things. I I find it's a very exciting time. You know, a lot of, my friends are, the artists that I work for as well. And, just seeing them get nominated and win awards and stuff like that has always been cool. And even like, my peers, like my photographer friends and all that stuff getting nominated and stuff too. It's cool to see. But for me, I just I don't know. Like I haven't really kept my finger on the pulse with, the award shows really, in sort of like in the aspect of being like a CCMA member or like, a CMAO member or anything like that. So,
Yep.
but I'm always like a huge supporter and fan of people winning and getting the support from, fans and friends.
Yeah, so it's nice that you get to feel that recognition a little bit too now, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, it's really cool. I didn't expect it, to be honest, but yeah. Here we are.
Okay, so let's get to the artist side. And you've worked with independent artists, you've worked with labels, you've worked with probably budgets that you were like, okay, and budgets that you're like, let's go nuts. So let's talk about the artist with no budget, and that's generally going to be your indie artist.
Yeah.
What do you think they should be doing? Because if they've got no money, they're probably not investing in somebody like yourself. So
yeah,
what do you think they should be doing to capitalize on having a good social presence, video presence, visual presence when they're making music and doing it themselves?
Yeah, for sure. For somebody with no budget and who wants to, put themselves out there, I'd say just firstly, just get inspired. Like, just absorb as much as you can until you find something that, and you feel something. Like it could be a TV show, a movie, like old magazines, being mindful, other people's content, literally anything. Like, creating a mood board is huge. Like, I think like if you have everything in front of you and you see it in front of you, it's kind of like putting pieces to a puzzle together. And then, you can kind of challenge yourself and surprise yourself from that. And, work with the tools at your disposal. And one of those tools being a phone. And a lot of people nowadays, they can shoot whatever they want and it can be posted online in like literally 2 seconds. So, if you have like a video of you covering some music or like some pages of lyrics that you wrote or something, to like post it, like let people see that, let people get to know you. The real thing for me is just to be as authentic as you can. I think a lot of people tend to mask and be somebody that they're not in order to look cool or like compelling. But I think what people want to see more of nowadays is just real authenticity and to get to know you as a person and what makes you unique. It's so easy to just hide behind your mask like that, but like 9 times out of 10 people will see through that and they won't connect with it. So, that's what I'll say is, use your phone, as much as you want.
Lean into the unpolished content, right? Like that's the whole point, especially when you're indie or DIY. People aren't looking for something like huge and produced, like,
Exactly. Yeah. And I think, to be honest, I've seen those types of videos blow up. And again, like, sure. I don't want to like make it all about view counts and likes and trends too. 'Cause like, I don't think that's a measure of your worth as an artist. If you're listening, like, treat content like the process of like writing your music. Like, you had to feel something to write it and you connected with something. And I think people connect with that is, what you're connecting with. There's probably thousands of other people who have that sort of feeling or something that resonates with them as well. So
there's an interesting transition to probably, I'm just thinking about this now, when you've got somebody who can invest in their content a little bit more, and trying to keep that vibe while also polishing it might be a little bit of a challenge. How have you seen that play out?
Wait, so you're saying to hire somebody else, or to
Yeah, let's say like you're a person who's used to like flipping go on the camera, being yourself, and then you're starting to polish a little bit. How do you as a person who helps produce this content for them see that playing out sometimes? Like, do you see it resonating well? Do you try to strike a balance of keeping that authentic vibe and polishing it, but maybe not too much? Or how do you balance all that as the person who's helping them do this?
Yeah, for sure. Even if there are like, you know, mess ups, like you messed up the way you talked in the video, or, you know, you missed a sort of cue or whatever. Like, I think again, like authenticity is very rare nowadays. And I think like leaning into that as much as possible is important. And I don't think you should hide away from, you know, the mistakes or the blemishes. You know, if you're polishing it and making it nice and all that stuff, that's great. Obviously I work in this field, so there's something to be said about real polished content. But I don't think like
it can translate as long as you're still being authentic and not trying to do this thing and put this mask on. Like, it translates well just because it's a little more polished and isn't iPhone.
yeah, exactly.
Right?
I endorse it as much as possible to be polished. Like,
Yeah.
like if it really helps communicate like the feeling and the sort of like narrative that you're going for with your content, like I'm a huge champion of that for you. But yeah, like again, like I personally wouldn't worry about the slip ups too much. And yeah, just like honestly, just have fun with it. Like, I think that's the most important thing. I think we all get too stressed out.
Yeah, 100%.
Worrying about it. So
yeah. Is there anybody you can think of maybe that you work with or that you just like keep tabs on or are watching that does a really good job of like keeping their content authentic and that perhaps folks who don't know what to do can kind of take notes from?
yeah, for sure. Well, first and foremost, I definitely want to shout out Robin Ottolini. She's been the artist that I've worked for most of my time in country music, and she's never not been herself. She's great at what she does, like with her own content and everything. Another person is Owen Wriggling. I'm working with him a lot more now. You know, him and I, like, we talk a lot about just really capturing the feeling and just being in the essence of the moment. And, you know, not to be afraid of, you know, going back to your roots and, you know, shouting out your hometown. You know, myself included, there's a lot of people nowadays that, you know, they're like, oh, I hate my hometown, I'm so glad I moved and all that stuff, and they're just ashamed of their hometown.
It's the opposite for Owen.
yeah I know. Yeah, like I feel like I was the type of person for a while where I was like, I don't like my hometown, I just want to leave. Like, I felt like it was something to be ashamed of. And now it's like, after, like, I feel like just meeting Owen and seeing how much he praises his 1,000-person town, it's really inspiring to me to, you know, not be ashamed of who you are and where you came from.
100%. So let's talk about when it's time to invest in the pros like yourself. Where do you think artists should start? And there's lots of different forms of content and video and visual they can work with, but what's your kind of crash course on, like, here's where you should spend your dollars when you start to have some to invest?
I'd say like live shows are a good start for sure. Professional photos for press, definitely.
Yep.
I wouldn't recommend a music video as they're budget heavy. As we all know, the industry is kind of generally leaning towards like visualizers, like lyric videos or like cinematic short form content. It kind of hurts my soul to say that, just because
I know you love music videos, and then there is this like slip or I remember growing up and watching music videos, and sometimes I'd be like, that song ruined that, or that video ruined that song for me. Like, I can't even listen to it without visualizing that stupid video.
Yeah, I know. And it's actually crazy how much it really like accompanies the music. Like, yeah. But yeah, like I would say like start with like, I like to call it like music video light content. Like, it's not a music video, but it's like simple enough where you don't need to hire a whole like crew. Sort of like when the videos are like short form clips, lip syncing videos, live performances, visualizers.
Yep.
Like in theory, you could probably knock all of these off if you hire a videographer for your next show as an artist, because I typically do this a lot, where if somebody hires me to shoot their show, I will film some content for them before, like during sound check or after sound check. And then honestly, if your song's only like 2 or 3 minutes long, you could literally film a visualizer. That's how easy it is to have like a good camera, like with you. Like it's that easy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you had kind of said like the live show video first?
Yeah.
One, obviously, budget. Two, there's probably something to be said about letting people in a little bit more and something that's more live, intimate, because these are probably smaller shows, and if they're not good for you for getting that far that fast, but it's just a nice way to use your money in a good way that is capturing something that's not just a music video that's scripted and planned, and like there's a lot more about those live video experiences.
Totally. And especially if you're opening for a headliner, like if you get on a good headliner bill or something and like there's a huge crowd and you have your camera guy go behind you on stage and like you put that on your social media, it really, it makes people pay attention for sure. And I think it also just makes people take you seriously. Like, not that they're not taking you seriously, but they're like, oh, wow. Even if they're like, crowd aside, like even if there's no crowd, like just having some nice like stage lighting and like being on a stage somewhere and people seeing you out there doing your thing in the world, like, yeah, people connect with that. It becomes
a little more real because it's not like, oh, you're not just sitting in front of the camera singing into your phone. Or
exactly.
Singing to the audience of social media,
Yeah. I think in a world with like TikToks and Reels, like it's very oversaturated, but like when people see that you're serious, like I think it's, I don't want to like tear people, but like I want to say like you're in a different category of content when it's like professionally recorded. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's true. It's definitely true.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that artist who's come to you now and is like, I have a vision.
Yeah.
What's that process like? / what do they need to be doing to figure out how to come to you as something that you're not like, can you explain that to me a little more? Can we walk through this a little more? Or are you willing to be told something very vague and be like, we can work with that. Let's, do it together.
Yeah, for sure. I think all the above. Like I'm here to help as much as possible with anybody and their vision. I think the most important thing for me is I need to get inside their world.
Yep.
Like, if I'm creating anything visual for an artist, my process starts with like a discover session. So basically just like a phone call or a meeting. And then I learn everything I can about who they are, what goals they have with the content, their audience. I'll listen to their music, and then I'll ask them to create a vision board, and then just compile everything that inspires them essentially. And it could be literally everything from like fashion to 90s advertisements to like fonts to music, whatever. When I have all that information, it almost feels like when I'm working with them and trying to learn about them, and then like I see everything in front of me, it almost feels like method acting to me. It sounds really cheesy, but like when I put it like that, it's truly a matter of like putting yourself in the shoes of the artist you're working for and just like building out something awesome. Yeah. To give some examples, like I've worked with some artists who like approach me for visualizers or like artwork or something, and they have no idea what they want. They'll tell me, you're the one creating it, you tell me, or like, just make it look cool. And then on the other side of things, artists who approach me with their like brand deck, fleshed out mood boards, basically a full breakdown of who they are. I truly like sort of believe like an artist has to get in touch with themselves in one way or another in order to create the music they write. The same goes for the visual side of things. I think like I said earlier, get inspired first, create some goals for yourself, and don't wait in the dark. If you're an artist and you're listening, there are people out there like myself who can help you find your vision. So
don't put too much stress on it if you're not super directed in what you think you need to be doing, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Are there other folks maybe that you can think of, and you don't need to name names, where it's like it's easier for some who are creatives to be able to help other creatives express their vision versus like just chopping through content for somebody or getting something up there I think my question is, how do you as an artist decide this dude is going to be able to bring my vision to life? Like, what do you think those artists should be sussing you out for?
Like you're talking in the sense of like shopping for like somebody to make something for you.
Looking to find you. What should people be? Yeah, what should they be looking out for?
I think an important thing is style, like visual style and because all of us content creators like myself, like we all have our own particular style that, you know, people resonate with and like artists resonate with. And yeah, like I think that's where it really starts, is like seeing this sort of, like, I think looking at people's portfolios like myself, or like, you know, Instagrams and stuff, and being like, wow, I really like that content. I really like the way that was shot, you know, the color palettes, you know, the attention to detail.
Maybe not getting distracted by who you did it for necessarily.
Exactly.
He works with this person, I got to work with him too, because that might not work out.
That's very true. Yeah, it's really not about who, you know. I've worked on with artists like on all sides of the spectrum. So there's like the smaller artists or the bigger artists, like whatever. It doesn't really matter who the artist is, but I think as long as the messaging is getting across and whoever's watching is connecting with that and wants to work with me or somebody else, like, I think that's what's most important. Agreed.
I think one lesson for people in business in general is they tend to go, oh, this person worked with this producer. This person worked with these songwriters. I need to do that too, because look where it got them. And then they don't get results, and it's like, why didn't that work for me? And it's like, well, you weren't looking for what the right thing. That's not why you should be working with somebody. I think it goes the same for professionals like yourself, or who are bringing a vision to life too. It can go a different way if you don't find the right person for the right reasons. That's very true. And I've actually heard that like recently too, like that, you know, somebody's working with this producer or whatever, and like it didn't work out. I think it also goes back to just being in touch with yourself as an artist, and knowing who you are and what your style is. Cause like, again, you're a unique person. And you know, a producer isn't gonna, you know, make your numbers just blow up. It's all about who you are, and finding the right producer that, you know, really has that sort of sense of style of music that you want to write. Yep. Same thing with like a content creator. Like we all have our own particular styles. So yeah. Yeah. And I think if you're listening to this and you're like, I don't know who I am, how do I sort through this? I think the lesson is, if you gravitate towards something because you like it and it's something that in your head might make sense for you, that's a good direction to go in. You don't have to have it all figured out either. Totally, yeah. Always listen to your gut. I think your gut is always right before your brain is. Yeah, I think there's some evidence to prove that's true, actually. Yeah. Actually, that's wrong. Great advice. One thing I'm curious about is your take on AI and AI-generated video and visual, because there's a video of Tim Cook speaking really great Mandarin, and know the CEO of Apple doesn't speak Mandarin. Oh, no. There's tons of videos out there that you would not be able to understand. Like, you would not know if it was real or not. Yeah. Like, it's kind of nuts. The only reason I couldn't tell Morgan Wallen's apology video was AI was because he would never fucking do that. No. I've seen some whack stuff on Instagram lately, and it's like... Scary. It literally looks like a phone, like somebody's filming on a phone, and it was like some woman bowling, and she threw it, got a strike, and then she started like glitching into the ceiling, and I'm like, what is going on? Yeah, so yeah, it's super weird. AI is kind of crazy. I think it's great to use as a tool, as a designer, and as a video. There's a lot of great things you can do to really consolidate your workflow, but also there's the other side of the coin where AI can be very destructive, because there's a lot of artists out there that have made their own original work, and AI is basically seeding off of that. Yeah. And a good example of that is Studio Ghibli wanting to sue. I think, wasn't it like they wanted to like sue ChatGPT for because people were making like Studio Ghibli inspired photos and they didn't like that. So I'm sure. So like I think there's something to be said about the plagiarism in AI, and obviously, like, you know, especially for educationally, when people are writing theses using ChatGPT and all that stuff, like it's weird, it's whack, it's such a broad topic, it's a loaded question. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. It's good, but it's also bad. I think there's a lot of ways AI can go wrong in the future, for sure. For sure.
But yeah, I have used AI personally in my work, but only in a constructive way. I don't plagiarize. I use it sparingly, is what I'll say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I think it's, as a person who works at an AI company also, but also has conversations with my physiotherapist who's very interested in AI and whatnot. It's like there's AI for good and there's AI for bettering the world, and there's a fine line when it's not AI for good anymore. And I think we teeter that line in a number of instances. Spotify, I'm gonna put the claim right out there. They're making fake music to keep money out of actual artists' pockets.
That's whack. I think AI, like they've said it for years, and there's, alarm bells have been sounding for years. People see the alarm bells for AI. They see the alarm bells for AI, but they won't do anything about it at this moment, because I think with history, like, people have to see that things go bad first before they correct it.
Yeah, I think there's too much curiosity about, like, how far can it go?
Yeah.
Whether it's bad or not.
Exactly, yeah.
It's interesting.
It's wild.
So we're not necessarily excited about it in the world of music, the industry.
No.
Content and visual. However.
Yes.
That fine line exists for sure.
It does, yeah, exactly.
Okay. Want to leave folks with a couple of things. One of those is resource-wise. How can artists kind of learn, if they want to be more involved in the creative process of the visual of their work, where would you direct them to kind of learn and understand, as much as you can create a vision board and you can start to understand what you want to say and how you want to say it? People still need something tangible. So
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I think my answer for this is very simple and straightforward. The internet is your best friend. Like, to be real, there is so much step-by-step guidance on like just literally one search away, Google or YouTube, that can help you formulate your entire visual brand by yourself.
Yep.
Actually, a good YouTube channel to check out is The Future, with no E. It's sort of tailored for content creators, but they touch on multiple topics that I think an artist would get a lot of value from. And I know I'm like beating a dead horse here, but the most important thing is to start with your inspiration. Like, what means the most to you?
Yes.
Like, I'll give you some examples. Go to the library, thrift, browse Pinterest, go to an antique store, flip through some old fashion magazines, watch a movie at an old theater, look at color palettes. There's actually a good website for that called coolers.co. Okay. And it's just a randomizer of color palettes, and then that can help you with your artwork and your branding. Look at fonts. I'll leave you with this. Just go out in the world, dissect it, put it all together and find the common ground in it, and then you'll find your brand. For sure.
That is great advice.
Yeah.
Okay. And then anything else that you can think of as help, or one thing to leave people on that isn't what you just said? Because that was too nicely packaged up for me still not to ask more of you.
Anything to leave? Any notes to leave with?
Yeah.
I mean, I could say something very inspirational, but I don't know how inspiring I can be. I would say don't beat yourself up too much and get frustrated with things not working out. And, sometimes things take a long time and you might feel like a stick in the mud, or I've heard it before, and I say this myself, there's a lot of extreme highs and extreme lows. But you'll get there. This is mostly for like the people who are just starting out, but for everybody out there, as a musician and a content creator, I see you, and you're all killing it. And I'd love to work with you at some point. So give me a shout.
Connor's a busy guy though, so you better know what you want to do.
Yeah. No, it's all good.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us, Connor. And if you have questions, you know what? His DMs are open. I'm sure he's got other contact information. Does he want you to contact him and spam him? No, but I'm sending you all his way anyways.
I mean, I'm here to help. So
This is Mastered by Front Porch Music. Join Logan Miller and Jenna Weishar, the hosts of CCMA-nominated On the Porch with Front Porch Music, for this mini-series podcast offering crash courses on the ins and outs of the music industry. Expert guests from across the Canadian music landscape sit down with Jenna and Logan to discuss labels, getting your shows booked, landing festival slots, A&R, social media, and so much more. Mastered is a Front Porch production, hosted by Logan Miller and Jenna Weishar. Mastered by Front Porch Music is produced by Logan Miller, Jenna Weishar, and Jason Saunders. The theme song for this podcast was written, produced, and performed by Keith Hunt.